Wayne Newton had always been drawn to ambitious ideas. So when he decided to turn his private estate into a public destination for his fans, the move seemed perfectly in line with his larger-than-life reputation. However, beneath the bold plans and millions of dollars spent, early warning signs began to surface. Lawsuits and mounting debts started to accumulate, creating an impression that celebrities like him felt the American public existed to serve them. At the same time, unusual developments emerged, each one adding to a growing sense that something was seriously wrong. Over time, the transformation meant to reshape his legacy took on a darker tone, leaving observers increasingly concerned. This is the story of how Mr. Las Vegas was made. Long before the bright lights of Las Vegas, Wayne Newton's journey began with a moment of remarkable early clarity. At just 4 years old, his parents took him to see a Grand Opry Road show in Roanoke, Virginia. Sitting there completely captivated, he watched performers like Hank Williams and Kitty Wells command the stage. Something clicked instantly. As soon as the show ended, he made it clear that the stage was exactly where he belonged. He didn't wait for lessons or formal training, instead teaching himself to play piano, guitar, and steel guitar entirely by ear. By age 6, he wasn't just practicing, he was already working. Every morning before school, he hosted his own daily radio show. On weekends, he and his older brother Jerry performed, either alongside traveling Opry acts or playing for local theater crowds. Considering that no one in his family had any entertainment background, his early drive was remarkable. Those small performances quickly grew into larger opportunities. While still in first grade, Newton performed at a USO show attended by President Harry Truman. By 8, he had won a local talent competition that led to an audition for one of the country's biggest platforms. Though that audition didn't succeed, it placed him among performers most could only dream of. Behind this early success lay a harder reality. Newton struggled with severe asthma, a condition serious enough that his family left Virginia and moved to Phoenix, Arizona, hoping the dry climate would help him breathe easier. That move changed everything. In Phoenix, Newton only accelerated his pace, performing regularly, appearing on local television, and even landing his own show, all while keeping up with school. His father, with Powhatan and Irish roots, had fought his way out of poverty, while his mother, of Cherokee and German descent, possessed her own resilience. This combination of grit shaped Newton's approach to life. The real turning point came near the end of his junior year in high school. A Las Vegas booking agent saw his performance and recognized something special. Soon after, Wayne and his brother headed to Las Vegas with barely any money. What was supposed to be a 2-week engagement at the Fremont Hotel and Casino turned into a grueling 46-week run. The schedule was relentless. 6 shows a day, 6 days a week. To keep his voice from giving out, Newton began learning more instruments to spread the physical load. That decision helped define him as a true multi-instrumentalist, eventually mastering more than a dozen instruments. His rise to national attention came when Jackie Gleason, impressed by a performance in Phoenix, brought him to New York for his television show. Legends like Lucille Ball, Danny Thomas, George Burns, and Jack Benny helped open doors. Bobby Darin produced some of Newton's first major hits. But becoming a headliner in Las Vegas was a different challenge. Newton stepped away from higher-paying lounge gigs to become Jack Benny's opening act for a much smaller paycheck, staying in that role for 5 years to learn and refine his craft. Eventually, Newton was offered a spot at the Flamingo Hilton, but he refused to open for someone else. He wanted to headline. The owner agreed, but scheduled him for November, one of the slowest months in Las Vegas. Most expected the show to fail, but the local community showed up. The crowds filled the room, and what was predicted to flop became a breakthrough success. Newton set attendance records and cemented himself as a defining figure in Las Vegas. From then on, he wasn't just performing in the city. He became part of its identity. The Mafia and Las Vegas share a long, complicated history, but when Wayne Newton got pulled into that world, it went beyond rumors. By 1980, Newton was the king of Las Vegas. That year, the Aladdin Hotel was put up for sale. Newton and his business partner Ed Torres stepped in with an $85 million deal. In September 1980, after a gaming license hearing, NBC reporter Brian Ross pressed Newton about Guido Penosi. Newton claimed Penosi was just a fan from 1973, but the truth was more complex. They grew closer over time, with dinners and favors exchanged. Newton helped Penosi's son get a TV spot and arranged lodging in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, a showbiz tabloid venture began collapsing. An angry business partner threatened Newton, and soon a mob-connected figure named Dapper appeared. The threats became personal, targeting Newton's 4-year-old daughter Erin with a brutal kidnapping message. Desperate, Newton reached out to Penosi, who brought in Frank Piccolo, tied to New York's Gambino crime family. The threat stopped, but nothing came free. Piccolo allegedly claimed Newton owed him a hidden stake in the Aladdin deal. Under oath, Newton denied having secret partners and downplayed his relationship with Penosi. The media pressure felt relentless. Eventually, Newton explained he contacted Penosi only to protect his family. In April 1981, he filed a defamation lawsuit against NBC, Brian Ross, and producer Ira Silverman. During the trial, Newton testified that after seeing a news report, he told his wife he was as good as dead. Las Vegas police confirmed a contract had been placed on his life. He wore a bulletproof vest, moved out of his home, and stayed inside the Aladdin Hotel, only leaving to perform. Penosi backed Newton's account, explaining he contacted his cousin Frank Piccolo, after which the threats vanished. A Nevada gaming agent named Fred Ballmer testified that Newton had not fully disclosed his connections to Penosi and Piccolo. Another investigator revealed that Newton's relationship with Penosi had been flagged as a concern in an early report, but was removed due to pressure to reopen the Aladdin quickly. After an 8-week trial in 1986, a jury awarded Newton $19.2 million, finding NBC had knowingly broadcast false information. A federal judge later reduced the award to $5.3 million. Newton accepted rather than risk another trial. In August 1990, a federal appeals court overturned the decision entirely, ruling Newton failed to prove actual malice because he was a public figure. The reporting, while controversial, did not cross the legal line into defamation. By 1992, Newton faced a full-scale financial crisis, filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to reorganize around $20 million in debt. On paper, he still owned an Arabian horse ranch, a sprawling mansion, and Lake Tahoe property. But the numbers didn't add up. His attorney noted that investments made in the 1980s had lost value. Debts included $8.3 million to Northeastern Bank of Pennsylvania, $1.2 million to General Electric Credit, $300,000 in legal bills, $13,000 to American Express, and $14,000 in back taxes. In the 1970s, Newton had earned $8.5 million a year, making him the highest-paid entertainer in Las Vegas history. But gaming ventures on Native American reservations proved costly. A bingo hall on the Santa Isabel Reservation failed due to high transportation costs. In Oklahoma, his company owed the Seneca Cayuga tribe around $147,000 plus $168,000 in bills and missed payments, leading to Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 1996. In 1997, Newton teamed with Tony Orlando to launch a 2,100-seat venue called the Talk of the Town, but crowds were small, sometimes only 360 people. Recording devices found in their shared room destroyed trust, and by 1998, they stopped performing together. Newton's lifestyle never slowed down. He lived on a 39-acre estate called Casa de Shenandoah, modeled after Tara from Gone with the Wind. The 11,000-square-foot main house cost $4 million to build. The property included guest houses, required 70 staff members, housed over 100 horses with their own hospital and swimming pool, plus a car museum, private jet terminal, heliport, tennis courts, and a small zoo that led to lawsuits after guest bites. His transportation collection included luxury cars, a Learjet, and a Fokker F-28 commercial airliner. By 2000, the IRS accused Newton of failing to report a $200,000 horse sale, while his wife allegedly underreported nearly $900,000 in income. In 2001, Newton partnered with CSD to transform Casa de Shenandoah into a fan destination, including a museum, dinner theater, and car wash. CSD invested $50 million and gave Newton $20 million upfront. By 2005, the IRS came after him for $1.8 million in unpaid taxes. In 2007, he abandoned a private jet at Oakland Airport for 3 years before having it reassembled on his property as a lawn ornament. By 2009, he faced a $30,000 unpaid hay bill and a $37,000 Cadillac lease dispute. In 2010, a former friend sued over a $3.35 million loan, leading to an attempted foreclosure on Casa da Shenandoah. In 2012, the developers behind the Casa da Shenandoah attraction sued Newton, claiming he derailed the deal, refused to vacate the property, and wouldn't hand over memorabilia. The lawsuit alleged the estate had massive piles of horse manure, overwhelmed stables, aggressive dogs that bit people, neglected exotic animals, and inappropriate conduct toward a female employee. Newton's legal team dismissed the suit as exaggerated and accused CSD of mismanagement. A bankruptcy judge ordered the estate sold for around $50 million. The property hit the market starting at $70 million before dropping to $30 million. Newton and his family moved into 2 separate homes. By 2015, Newton made a deal to return to Casa da Shenandoah, and the estate opened to the public. But in 2018, tours shut down for renovations and never reopened. Starting in 2020, Newton partnered with Caesars Palace, appearing in pandemic promotional campaigns. He planned a major return to the stage in 2021, but a back injury forced a pause. By 2022, he was back on stage with a more intimate residency titled Wayne, up close and personal, performing his classic songs, sharing stories, and connecting directly with the audience.